More and more general dentists are using the dental microscope for their bread and butter restorative dentistry. But why? Aren't loupes and a headlight more than enough for crowns and fillings? I use both microscopes and loupes every day, and I've done so for the past 10 years. In this video, I want to give you my honest take on why dental microscopes, long thought of as an endodontic tool, are beginning to challenge loupes as the go-to optical instrument for restorative dentists. In the spirit of keeping things interesting for you, let's break this battle of the optics down into 9 duels, each of which will help you understand where loupes may be better than a microscope and where the microscope clearly wins. Let's start with perspective. So loupes have a flexible perspective. You probably aren't even aware of this because it's how you've experienced the world since you were born. When you move your head, your perspective moves with it because that perspective starts at your eyes. Practically speaking, this means you can tilt your neck a little while prepping a crown to improve your view, and we do this all the time as restorative dentists. Microscopes, on the other hand, offer a fixed perspective, and unlike loupes, that perspective starts at the microscope's objective lens here and not at your eyes. If you're relying on the microscope to see, tilting your neck does nothing. And it's unfortunate at first because that temptation is very real when you're learning with the microscope. The only way to change what you see through the microscope is to physically move the microscope itself. In other words, your perspective is now independent of your eye position and fixed instead to the position of the scope's objective lens. At first glance, you might think that the microscope is losing this duel badly. Not so fast. Because of how dental microscopes are designed, this shift in perspective from your eyes to the objective lens actually creates some really unique advantages that no loupe can offer. No, not even ergo loupes. There is a principle in the dental microscope world called the ergonomic offset. This is simply the distance between where your viewpoint begins and where your eyes physically are. With loupes, that offset is basically 0. With a microscope, it can be substantial because the oculars extend so far out from the microscope. With the right ergonomic accessories, a microscope can be set up so that the dentist sits back comfortably while their viewpoint begins directly over the patient's oral cavity. And that is a huge advantage. Having your perspective start directly above the mouth dramatically improves direct vision of the upper arch, while also making indirect vision of the lower arch far more practical than it ever was with loupes. Without this ergonomic offset, a dentist's viewpoint usually begins from behind the patient or from the side of the patient, if they want to stay comfortable. That position works reasonably well for direct vision of the lower arch and indirect vision of the upper arch, but it becomes very restrictive when you want to introduce a mirror during a lower crown prep, for instance, or when you need clear direct visualization of the upper arch for something like rubber dam application or a final impression. This is why dentists hunch over and crane their necks so often. They're trying to improve their vantage point. So yes, while loupes do offer a fluid perspective, the actual range of useful vantage points from a comfortable operator position is often limited. The microscope, by contrast, has a fixed perspective, but it can be positioned to give you an amazing vantage point while preserving excellent ergonomics, and that is an awesome combination. One last note before moving on. Microscopes are not just more ergonomic for your neck and back, they can also be more ergonomic for your eyes. Looking through a microscope is a bit like looking out at the horizon through a nice pair of field binoculars. Your eyes just completely relax. They do not need to converge the same way that they do with loupes. The microscope actually handles all of that convergence for you. Some people do not actually notice this all that much, but if your eyes do feel tired after a long day in loupes, you probably will. Now, all this talk of superior ergonomics can make the microscope sound like an answer from heaven for the general dentist with a sore back. But before you get too excited, one thing needs to be said. Microscopes are harder to use at first. You can have the most ergonomic microscope in the world, but if you do not know how to position it properly, you will not be any more comfortable. Early in the learning curve, microscopes are more demanding than loupes because you need to know how to constantly be aware of the positioning while also adapting to that fixed perspective we talked about earlier. That can absolutely lead to ergonomic compromises, especially if you are trying to learn the microscope without training. But once you achieve true mastery with both systems, I actually believe the microscope becomes easier to use than loupes in many ways. And that brings us to the next 3 duels. Modern microscopes offer a flexible magnification range, and this is one of their biggest advantages. If I need to place a rubber dam, I crank it down to minimum magnification and get it on there. If I need to find a calcified canal, then instantly I'm up to 12x. If I'm prepping teeth, I usually live between 5x to 7x magnification. I always have that right level of magnification at my fingertips. It's a beautiful thing, and honestly, it makes dentistry way more enjoyable. So there's different options for actual magnification changers in microscopes. Some have like a stepped magnification system, which means that you clunk it from 3x to 5x and there's nothing in between, and then you can clunk it to 8x and beyond. And then you have everything all the way to like the motorized zooms in some of the more expensive scopes where you have like a little controller and then it zooms in and out for you. My preference is actually a manual zoom knob. So what I mean by that is it's still manual magnification. You turn a knob to change your magnification, but it's a continuous zoom range from minimum all the way to maximum magnification. And that's what's featured on the OMS 2380 and the OMS 2050 from Zoomax, and is honestly one of the biggest reasons I love these scopes so much. Microscopes absolutely dominate when it comes to documentation. Because an adapted or integrated camera can see virtually the same thing I see, I can capture incredibly detailed photos and videos with minimal interruption to my workflow. That is a big part of how I actually built this YouTube channel, in fact. If you try to mount a camera to your Loupes or on a headband or, oh my goodness, it's just gonna be super shaky and pretty much unusable. And even when it does work, the quality is just nowhere near what is possible through a microscope. That's because head-mounted camera systems cannot take advantage of the optical magnification of your Loupes. With microscopes, the camera is using the same glorious optics that your eyes are using, and that is why the photo and video quality can be so incredible for those who do master the microscope. Microscopes also offer far better illumination than the typical loupe and headlight setup. Some of that advantage comes from the higher powered LEDs found in modern microscopes, but honestly, the most important benefit is how the light is actually delivered in a microscope. The illumination axis is aligned parallel to the optical axis. In simple terms, this means that the light in the microscope, it travels in the same direction as your view. That matters clinically because it eliminates shadows and allows you to look down tiny dark holes, like, imagine an endoaxis or extraction socket, with remarkable clarity. Most loupe lights are not positioned parallel to the loupe barrels, and although there are a few exceptions, most of the time you're just not going to get that same level of illumination, and it does really make a big difference. Sometimes you have to see it to believe it, so if you're at a trade show, sometimes just take a look at the microscopes there, honestly, and you'll get a sense right away that there's just something different. Now, cost is one duel that loupes win easily. Dental microscopes are not cheap. Even though increased competition between manufacturers is bringing prices down, microscopes are still much more expensive than loupes. And if you don't have room for a mobile stand, then you also have to think about the cost of mounting. One silver lining is that the lower tier microscopes from reputable brands are often among the best choices for general dentists. Personally, I would never choose a microscope because it has a magnetic brakes or autofocus or motorized zoom features. Things like that actually slow me down as a restorative dentist, and I wouldn't want them. That is one reason I far prefer simpler, more affordable scopes like the Zoomax OMS 2050. For my work as a restorative dentist, a scope like that serves me far better and in many more ways than the more expensive options. Let's talk about field of view. The first time you look through a high quality operating microscope, it can feel like there's like a movie theater inside those eyepieces. It is a striking experience. Part of that impression comes from the fact that the optical pathway in a microscope can offer a roughly 50% more viewing area than expanded field loupe barrels. Now, when I say field of view here, I do not mean how much of the mouth you can see clinically. Instead, I mean the physical size of the image being presented to your eyes. Think of it this way. If your loupes and your microscope are both set to 3x magnification, you may be looking at the exact same clinical image, but the microscope can project that image larger and often with better resolution. It's a bit like watching the game on a 50-inch 4K TV instead of a 40-inch Full HD TV. Same image, just larger and more detailed. With all of that said, there are absolutely situations where the microscope is just not practical. If you work out of 2 or 3 different offices, a high quality pair of loupes and a headlight is going to be a way more practical solution for you. For me, I use loupes primarily in rooms where I don't have the microscope because I'm not going to be dragging this thing in and out of a room for a hygiene check, for instance. It's just not worth it. But as a quick aside, if you do want to mimic the microscope, like in terms of like the quality of the image you get out of it, it's not going to be the same, but you can get closer. The key is having really good illumination. So I actually recommend like a head-mounted headlamp, like the ones that from BFW or Nova, for instance. And I've tried both. From BFW, I had a light from them back in 2019, their Daymark, which it does do a really good job of illuminating the oral cavity. You know, it makes things look great. The problem was that they're so expensive. It was like $6,000 for that light, for a flashlight on your head. I know it's not a flashlight, but that was the way it came across to me. So when I started the Microscope course, and it's associated with Nova, and they sent me 3 of their headlamps to just test. And so I tested their like Quest, which would be similar to the BFW one. And then they sent a Quasar, which is like a middle ground one, and then a much more affordable one called the Cubit Pro, which is more meant for dentists. And honestly, that one is my favorite. It sits right between my loop barrels, it gives me coaxial lighting, and it's plenty bright. So if anything, that would be the one I would lean towards. And I promise you, Nova did not pay me to say this. They probably prefer I promote their Quest, which is the most expensive one. But the Cubit Pro is really solid. So I would actually recommend that one. It is also hard to justify a microscope if you simply do not have the time or willingness to learn how to use it properly. And this is really the point. Loupes are easier to adopt. They just are. They're portable, familiar, and practical. The microscope, by contrast, asks more of you up front. But if you are willing to climb that learning curve, my goodness, the payoff can be enormous. If you want to shorten that learning curve, by the way, I have put together a comprehensive online course on exactly that. You even get AGD PACE credits, 8 of them. And if you would rather start with free resources, you can find them at masterthemicroscope.com. Learning to use loupes, honestly, is a bit like learning to ride horseback after years of walking barefoot. It's relatively easy to learn, and it will absolutely help you move faster. Learning the microscope, on the other hand, is like trading that horse in for a dragon. Not everyone is willing to learn how to fly a dragon. But those who do, man alive, they gain access to some advantages that people on the ground simply never will. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Lots of more dental microscope content coming down the pipe. Hope you enjoyed.